Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to do is make a very large cake. In fact, it's a half a sheet cake. This particular recipe is on a white half sheet cake, and if you are looking for other flavored cakes, well, I've got them all. I've got a couple chocolate half sheets, I have lemon, now the white, the yellow or the golden, I have red velvet. I have a lot of half sheet cake recipes. So if you're looking for something to make for a gathering or your church social or whatever you're looking for, making a larger half sheet cake, well, this is the place to get the recipe. So what I want to do is I'm going to start telling you what's all the ingredients and what I'm doing. I will not have a list on the bottom of the video for the ingredients because so many people are taking my videos to other sites and claiming them that they're theirs. So it's not worth it for me anymore, but I'm going to try to go through clearly and slowly all the ingredients that you can make this white half sheet cake. Okay, first off, what I do is I take 9 white the egg whites and separate them, and what I want you to do is to beat them. Now they don't have to be beaten to high peaks or anything like that, just so that they're beaten well. So I'm going to put this on for just a second or so, and then I'm going to show you what mine look like, and then we'll move on with the recipe. Okay, I just want to take my whip out of here. Having some difficulty here. There we go. All right. And this is about all that you need to whip them. Okay, they don't have to be extremely high peaks or anything like that. All right. So I'm going to set that aside. That was 9 egg whites beaten. Okay. So let me put on another bowl here with a paddle. Okay. We're going to start off by, of course, kneading butter. Okay, you're going to need 1.5 cups of butter, and put that in your mixing bowl. I cut it up into small pieces because it's faster for the video and it creams a lot quicker that way. Now, you will need, I think, to make this batter, you really do need a stand-up mixer. I guess anything's possible if you wanted to try a hand mixer, but really the stand-up is really what's needed for this recipe. So once you cream that butter, okay, you're going to need granulated sugar, and you're going to need 6 cups of granulated sugar. So I'm going to start to put that in and beat it with the butter, and I want to warn you about the sound. You'll want to cream that 6 cups of granulated sugar with your butter, okay, till it all comes together. I'm just making sure to get the bottom of my mixing bowl here. All right, so cream that butter really well, and that might take you 3 minutes. It might take you 5 minutes. It really depends on the speed and the type of mixer that you're using, but you do want to beat that. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be putting in is almond extract, and I'm putting 1.5 teaspoons of almond in there. And then I'm going to also put 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Now, if you don't want to use the vanilla, you can substitute it for lemon extract. It goes really well with it too. But I like using the vanilla. So 1.5 of the almond extract, and then 1.5 teaspoons of the vanilla, or use lemon if you want. Okay, now let's work on the dry ingredients. Okay, you're going to need 9 cups of all-purpose flour. And in that 9 cups of all-purpose flour, you're going to put 6 teaspoons. Yeah, I did say 6 teaspoons of baking powder into that. You're also going to be needing salt. So we're going to be putting in 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just going to stir it in. I'm just going to mix it in, stir it in a little bit here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to move it around a little bit in all this flour. And then I'm going to start alternating the flour into the cream mixture. Now, you're going to need very icy cold water for this, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to alternate the dry ingredients to the creamed ingredients, and then slowly start adding very cold iced water. And you will need 4.5 cups of ice water, okay? 4.5 cups of ice water, all right? So I'm going to start putting in some of the flour. Now I have my mixer more on low so that you can hear me. But when it starts to struggle, I'm going to have to, of course, turn it up, so I'm going to warn you about the sound. Okay, right about now, I'm going to put in the first cup of the iced water, okay? Now I'm going to go back to alternating with the dry. Go for a second cup of water. I'm going to have to raise my speed. Now we'll go back to the dry. Now you can see this does take a bit of patience and some time, but it's well worth it. This cake comes out just wonderful. All right. We'll start to beat that in. Now the rest of the dry is in. And the last of the water. Now you'll want to mix this well. It doesn't have to be, beat up high, but it has to be well combined. And that could take you, 3, 4, even 5 minutes. It depends on your speed and that type of thing. But you want it, well blended. Let me just clean up my countertop here a little bit while we're waiting. Now I'm just going to go in and bring in those sides a little bit with my spatula and get to the bottom where it tends to stick and move it around a little bit. But let's spend just a little bit of time beating. I'm going to raise the speed, so I'm going to warn you about the sound. Now, I would still beat this even a little bit longer, and you can, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but you can hear that when the mixer needs, where it starts to struggle a little bit, that it needs a little bit more of a higher speed, okay? So I'm going to take the paddle out. There we go. Take off the excess. And then by hand, I'm going to just do a little bit more of mixing. All right. So to get to the sides, check that bottom. That's what I worry about, that the bottom isn't well combined. So I want to check that. Now you can start to see how beautiful and silky, I hope you can see that, how beautiful and silky this batter is, okay? Now I went ahead and I heavily greased and floured a half a sheet, okay, half a sheet cake. And I believe it's beaten quite well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly add our 9 egg whites. And I'm going to try to lower it in so that I'm not taking too much of the air out. And then just fold it in. You want to try to keep the air as much as you can so the cake will bake up light and not heavy or dense. But it is a large volume of batter, so you know it's going to take you a little bit of time to fold that in, okay? And put a little bit more in. And trying just to incorporate it, but not to take out too much of the air. Okay. Again, you're going to spend a little bit of time making this recipe, but you're going to really enjoy the results of it. What I also want to tell you is that I don't use all the batter that you see here. I use about, and it's just approximate, not exact, about 12 cups of batter. And then I always usually have an 8 by 8 square cake that I can make from it. So I want to just get these egg whites out of here. Okay. And just, again, just fold the rest of it in. Now, this particular recipe, like I said, it's a little bit large to put all the contents, all the batter in this. Just going to give my hand here a little break. And you can definitely tell if all the egg whites have been folded in. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to rinse my hands real quick here. Okay, so Now I'm just going to grab my measuring cup just to give you an idea, and I put about 12 in, okay? But they're not exact or anything, because you can kind of see that batter is dripping on the sides. Some batter is left in the cup. It's just, you know, approximate. You'll be able to see that's 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, the reason that I bored you with all, you know, to see 12 cups is because I know I'll get questions about it. You know, were they exact? Is it, you know, and it's just approximate. But you, at least if you watched it, even though I probably bored you to death, you can get an idea of what the cups looked like, and you know how much was in the pan before I put it in the preheated oven. Now you're going to preheat your oven at 325, and this cake can take anywhere from 55 to 60 minutes, okay? And all our ovens set up differently, so I really start watching mine about 50 minutes or so, because you don't want to overbake it, you don't want to dry it out. Use a cake tester or a toothpick or whatever that you use to make sure that it's well done and it's baked properly. That's at 325, okay? And what I'm going to do is I want to rinse my hands again. Hopefully you're still with me and I didn't put you to sleep. I want to first show you what the little cake that I get, the 8x8, because I don't use all the batter in that pan. There's just no way. It would be on overfill. But I want to show you what the cake looks like once it is baked up, and this is how beautiful it's going to come out. It'll have a nice golden brown on the top. It has a, you know, a nice top to it. I don't know if you can see it. It's not extremely flat, but it's not, you know, where you have to, you know, cut. If you do have to cut and level it off, it's not a lot to do that. But this is how it's going to bake up at the 325, okay? So let me set that cake aside, because I want to show you on this cake what the bottom looks like and whatever. So I went ahead and I cut a piece of it so that not only could you see the top, but then you could see the bottom as well. And then I'm going to press on this cake. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but how light and moist it is. It's not a heavy, heavy, dense cake. It is a beautiful crumb on this white cake. It really is. And I really feel, of course, it's due to those egg whites, those beaten egg whites. And then I'm just going to show you the crumb, is how it's flaking away. This really makes an extremely light cake. And then as I push on it, I hope that you can see how soft and pillowy it is. Okay, but again, don't use all of the batter. You're going to have to save some. This will be left over You know, you can use it for so many uses. You could put frost it with, fill it with pudding, or put any type of glaze or icing over it, or just eat it plain with powdered sugar. This cake tastes fantastic. So I actually get the, not only the 12 by 18 half sheet pan, okay, but I get the small 8 by 8 out of it, okay, right? It'll be up to you how you handle this. I want to, you know, thank you for always watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. If you try this recipe and you like it, well, leave a comment, because I really do like to hear from you. But I do need you to watch me solely on YouTube, because many of you write or have questions, and I find those questions where my videos have been taken and I can't answer you. It is so frustrating. So please watch me on YouTube. That's the only place I put my videos on, nowhere else. If you like this recipe, please give me a like. If you're so inclined, ring the bell. And even better, if you'd want to subscribe, boy, I'd appreciate it. I thank everyone that watches my channel. You know, I have just hit 14,000 subscribers, and I appreciate all the people that sub, as well as anyone, whether they just watch for a few minutes or use the recipe. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful to everyone that has spent time watching or listening to my videos. Well, that's it for me. I want to once again, thank you so much for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And you know what? I'll see you soon.